Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 385 or 6 of the Spearhead Sundays podcast. I'm your host, Lewis Spears. The festival is done. The tour begins. LewisSpears.com. Get your tickets. Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide. Some others are on sale. UK, maybe going up next week. So chuck your email into the thing. All right, so... Oh, I'm so happy the festival's over, but I want to get into something that's very pressing and very important to everyone, and if you're not paying attention to it, you should be, all right, because it's one of the more integral matters of our time. Ethan Klein versus Hasan Piker has now received a new challenger. iDubbbz has stepped into the ring and has content copped Ethan Klein, who now, because he's been content copped, has taken himself out to pasture and took himself out to the back of the warehouse they stream from. I heard a loud boom, and I have not seen him since. So the H3 podcast will now just be Ethan Klein and Bibi Netanyahu mostly agreeing with each other. No, that's not what happened. Obviously not. But a man can dream. No. We wish everybody the best of outcomes. I still don't know why everyone's so angry at Ethan Klein, to be honest, all right? For a Jewish guy who, plucked a jewel from Israel, I think that he's pretty fucking good when it comes to, like, critiquing the genocide that's going on there. You know? Sure, all right. Ethan Klein may have participated in a little bit of genocide, but who hasn't? Who hasn't participated in a little bit of genocide? I mean, look, military service is mandatory in Israel, all right? So you can't exactly fault someone for not wanting to go to prison because they conscientiously object to dropping bombs on infants, all right? We've all folded. We've all had our own moral quandaries and our own beliefs that at the first sign of resistance fold. We've all done it. You know? I don't like gambling, but one time I went to Crown Casino, so who am I to judge? Besides, it's not like she was enlisted into the army and then got an office job where she didn't have to see any combat at all. It's not like she, like, voluntarily was like, oh, can I come on a raid and steal someone's home? It's not like she did that. Right? Look, I'm telling jokes, okay? I'm obviously telling jokes. My genuine opinion of it is I don't know what you expected from a fucking YouTuber. Like, this whole thing is like, I feel like the world cares more about Ethan Klein and Hasan Piker dunking on each other than they do Gaza itself being turned into a fucking Trump hotel. You know? I think that whenever people are throwing out, oh, Ethan's like a genocide denier or he's like excusing the actions of Israel, every time I see the guy talk about it, he's like, yeah, this is a fucking genocide. It's horrific. I think it's really bad. And I go, well, that's pretty reasonable. I am not seeing enough, like, anti-Gazan shit coming from the H3 podcast camp to justify calling CPS on someone's kids. Oh, it was actually their therapist did it. It was an ex-cleaner. No, I don't think it was. I think it was an insane fucking Twitch viewer with a what's the word? Something parasocial relationship with one of the other many streamers. I just don't know. I don't understand what everyone is so upset with Ethan right now. I mean, he looks like shit. He probably should stop streaming and have a mental health break. Like, that guy is clearly unraveling. But I don't know. I feel like if strangers were trying to get the state to kidnap my children, I might go a little bit insane. You know what I mean? Okay, and what I'm trying to say here is the real victim in the Israel-Palestine thing is Ethan Klein getting a knock on the door. That's the real victim here. That aside, right? I did see one thing from Ethan that made me go, oh, I don't know about that, where he was like, there's no apartheid in Israel. And everyone was like, yeah, there is. And he was like, no, Israel's nice. It's Gaza that's fucked. Gaza is very bad, and there's definitely apartheid and genocide over there, and that's atrocious. But Israel's fucking fun, dude. You can go to nightclubs and party and walk around, and I'm watching that going, I'm sorry, aren't the two inextricably linked? You can't be like, oh, nah, America has nothing to do with slavery. My farm has no slaves. What about the neighbors? Well, I don't know about the neighbors, all right? I work with my boys. Not those boys. I don't mean it like that. I mean my genetic sons. The farm over the road might use boys in a very different way, but me, I'm talking about my children who I love. So that made me go, oh, I don't know about that. And then there is one clip of Ethan being like, oh, can you believe that people think that Palestinian children are taught to kill Israelis and Americans at a very young age? That's ridiculous. And Hila's like, look, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say here, but also, right, so obviously, okay, maybe I take it all back. Maybe Bibi Netanyahu has Ethan on speed dial, all right? And the whole H3 podcast is just a giant Israeli psyop to try and get Zoomers on board with the genocide. Maybe. That could be true. All right? But that doesn't mean that Hasan is like completely fucking perfect either, right? Because when I watch the Hasan stuff, again, he mostly says reasonable things, but every now and then he's like, maybe America deserved 9/11. And it's like, okay, I feel like there might be a better way to phrase that. No, he was talking about the consequences of American imperialism. Fair enough. Okay, that's fine. I do question having the Houthi on. I'm not so sure about that. I don't know about playing Houthi propaganda, being like, how sick are these musicians? Now, it was a very good song. I will say that. It had me bobbing my head until I read a translation of the lyrics. Then I was like, all right, it's still a good song, but I don't agree with the context. You know, I had to separate art from the artist with that one. And don't say you don't know what I mean if you're still pumping Kanye. So that's where I'm at with this, is like, I think that as for two different people, right, Ethan and Hasan, who would both have like legions of family members personally leaning on them to have a much, much more, much less nuanced view than they publicly put out, I think they're both doing all right. They both have their faults, but I don't think that Hasan is some fucking terrorist sympathizing radical, and I don't think that Ethan and Ethan Klein are like, how good is genocide? I'm buying a house in Gaza. I think that both of them, for the most part, agree. But also, because I've been locked into this shit way too much, and I'm sure you have as well. All right. It is very funny watching Ethan Klein be like, I can't believe that Hasan tricked me into thinking that he, like me, was a center-left Democrat. What the fuck gave you that impression, dude? Did you watch any of his streams? I don't think he was up there barracking for Joe Biden. I think he was up there going, this is the best we have. Unfortunately, I don't think he was like, yeah, woohoo! How good is voting Democrat? That guy was never doing that shit. And to say that Hasan is some great manipulator, he managed to trick you into making like 5,000 episodes about politics, and then one day you were surprised about what he believed because he pulled the wool over your eyes. It's like, what am I supposed to believe that Hasan Piker managed to trick just you, but none of his audience? Because all of his audience seems to understand almost exactly what Hasan thought. But then Ethan's like, oh my God, I'm surprised. So either you're lying, Ethan, or you're a little bit retarded. It could be both. And then on the other side of things, it's like Hasan's been like, oh my God, Ethan's so obsessed with me. It's like, I see you both talking about each other just as much. And I do think that there are a bunch of little fucking orbiting cretins that are much smaller on Twitter, on Twitch, that have done and said some really horrific shit about Ethan, his wife, their kids, all this kind of stuff that has gone ignored. Which, you know, when you realize how close these relationships are, looks like tacit approval. Enter iDubbbz, who made a content cop that, look, it was all right. It was a YouTube video. I think that everyone disappointed by the content cop is actually coming to terms with the fact that they are no longer 15 anymore. You know, I'm sorry, all right? But it's time for millennials to accept that we are entering our cringe era. And none of the Zoomers think we're cool. And Gen Alpha don't even know who any of us are. All right? Gen Alpha are going into movie cinemas and trying to light them on fire and sacrificing live chickens to a shit movie with Jack Black in it. They don't care about the latest content cop like we used to. Like, we're 30 years old now. Some of us have a mortgage. You're not going to get as excited about a content cop as we used to. Those days are over, brother. And it has nothing to do with the quality of Ian's video. It has everything to do with the state of your life right now. You know, like I used to wake up in the morning and watch 20 minutes of Cheese TV to catch half a Dragon Ball Z episode interrupted by ads for toys that my parents couldn't afford. And that affected my brain so much and hyped me up so much that I almost got expelled from primary school for trying to go Super Saiyan on my desk. I still watch Dragon Ball Z. It doesn't make me climb desks and scream trying to charge up because I'm no longer 9 or however old I was. I can't remember because I failed high school because of Dragon Ball Z. It really is those damn screens. People are like, oh, this content cop sucks compared to the other ones. No, it's just compared to who you used to be. You're no longer fucking 16. And also, consequences and it just don't exist anymore anyway, you know? A content cop used to mean something, so did a Lou review. I used to drop a Lou review and it would actually fucking devastate people for 3 weeks. I would feel bad. Some of the Lou reviews I made in like the first couple of years, the subjects are still getting like who's that woman that I made the Sorry Susan, her book's on the fucking shelf. People still ask her about me when she does talks at schools about cyber safety. It's been like what? 10 years, maybe? That doesn't happen anymore because there's so much shit that gets pumped out daily. Content just gets forgotten about. The only thing worth putting like a huge amount of effort and time into making and consuming is live performance in real life. Not live streaming, but stuff you can go and see. That's where all my creative effort goes to is performing live. All right? Because it doesn't matter if you make a fucking masterpiece, like the best movie of all time, nobody sees it because they can't fuck a farm animal mid showing and get kicked out for a TikTok. All right? They're going to not see it because they know it's going to end up on Netflix or one other fucking streaming service. So they can watch it while scrolling a different social media app on their phone with subtitles on, not paying attention, and then fall asleep in the third act. That's how we consume art now. So I'm not disappointed in the content cop because I understand that I'm no longer fucking 18 going, oh, what the fuck? He's in a sewer. So Ian's kind of come out and been like, and joined the bandwagon against Ethan Klein. One thing I like about Ethan Klein is his just absolute belief and stubbornness to just go to war at the expense of his own life and mental health and physical well-being. The man looks like shit. And I respect it because that was me. Remember that? When I was still uploading through the gap tooth? Brother, take 2 years off. But I didn't, and he's not. So I have a great kinship with Ethan Klein. That and I used to be a drone pilot for the IDF. So there's a bit of loyalty there as well. But everyone's freaking out being like, "Oh man, the content cop flopped," because they like what were you expecting the content cop to be? Were you expecting Ian to do some fucking Julian Assange level espionage and hack into the Pentagon and find footage from Ela Klein's helmet cam of her kicking down a door and shooting a family of 3 in the Gaza Strip? What the fuck did they want? Footage of Hasan Piker paragliding into Israel? I don't know what the fuck they wanted. He made a few points. He made a couple jokes. He kind of said everything that's already been said, but this time it came from him, a former friend. And that was the video. It was a YouTube video. Like, what the fuck do you want it? What did you want it to be? And then, like, all these people are dunking on iDubbbz because towards the end of it, he talks about the huge levels of harassment that him and his wife Anissa got, and he kind of empathized with Ethan and Ela, going, you know, I understand what this is like, and he cried, right? And then Twitter started clipping it and going, oh, look at this fag crying. I'm sorry, but fellas, is it gay to love your wife? I don't think so. I thought it was quite beautiful and touching that he cared so much about his wife and how it affected her feelings that he was moved to tears. I think that's beautiful, and I love love. And God bless both of them. It's always so weird to me when people when a man cries and then all of these fucking bros are like, oh, look at this fucking fag crying, he's gay. And then those very same people are like, whoa, my friend killed himself, now I'm going to do it. There's a suicide epidemic. Yeah, because every time a man expresses their feelings, everyone calls them a fucking loser beta soy boy cuck. You're allowed to have a sook. In fact, it's beautiful. You just got to also do something about it after, but you got to let your sooks out. I don't know. I had a magic mind and it's kicking in. Can you tell? Dude, that shit works. This isn't even sponsored. I was having a magic mind 20 minutes before I got on stage, and fucking by the time I heard that welcome to the stage, Lewis, I was Super Saiyan. I was ready to go. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that it's I don't know what everyone's so fucking upset about. Oh, the Jewish guy doesn't want Israel to be dissolved. Fuck, really? Oh, the Arab guy doesn't want Palestinians to be nuked in the glass. Fuck, no way. Hey, why don't we just fucking argue about this for the next 1,000 years? Maybe that'll solve it. Maybe, can we get another 1,000 years on this fucking debate over who owns this land? Someone needs to come along and be like, all right, well, neither of you are having it. Yeah, that'll solve everything. A third power being like, actually, it's my holy land. Why don't we get the Hindus in there? Hey, that's my holy land, and stop killing cows. Anyway, excuse me. I need to have a shower in this fucking stagnant water. It can't get dirty because God cleans it. What do you mean you can see a turd floating on the top? It's holy water. Look, I am having a laugh. I think it's look, you know what this whole fucking thing is? As an adult male, all right? I think, including the content cop, this whole thing with Ethan and Hasan, I think that all of this probably could have been solved with a phone call. Hey? This is why you got to call your mates when you have a disagreement. Or when you feel slighted. And you call them up and you go, hey man, I really didn't like it when you did this. And then they go, oh, I'm sorry if that came across like that. I didn't mean that. What I was trying to say was this. And then you can have a conversation and a hug. And then Ethan wouldn't be fucking going so grey that he's dyed his hair black. And Hasan probably wouldn't be fielding, hey, did you call CPS on the man's child? Which I don't think Hasan did. Like, it just would have been some nutter in the audience, you know what I mean? Just, you know, and that is a fucking crazy thing as well, because these two are like two of the most famous people on the planet, like, and you're expecting both of them to be like in complete control of every single person who watches them. You know? I mean, that's fucking crazy. There are some crazy people out there. Like, you can't, once you get to a certain level of influence, all you can really say is like, hey, don't do bad things, please. But if millions of people are watching you, there's going to be some fucking baddies in there. Didn't a guy say subscribe to PewDiePie before he shot up a mosque? You know, like, I don't think that's necessarily his fault. At a certain point, like if you're in a room with 10 people and one of the guys is wearing blackface, you probably should be like, hey man, wash off the boot polish. But if you're in a fucking room with 10 million people and there's one guy right at the back, you can't even see him because the lights are off, you might be off the hook. I just think that it's so that my main thing is, I'm sure that all of the orphans in Palestine are very grateful that this discussion is happening at all. I'm sure that all of the fucking recently widowed women about to be struck by bombs funded by the Australian taxpayer are super stoked to turn on their phone somehow and see the Israel-Palestine genocide debate getting turned into who's your favorite streamer. That's probably a good sign of the conflict being resolved very soon. Is that everyone got sick of watching the actual war. Now here's a fucking war I can fight in. The comment section of a fucking streamer and a YouTuber. I don't know why the fuck you would ever want to be a streamer. It looks like the most mentally damaging influencer job there is. Johnny Somali's going to go to prison in Korea for the rest of his fucking life for 10 viewers. Because he streamed for too long and it turned him insane. Ethan Klein has gone for black hair dye and has gone a couple shades too dark because he's gone even more grey than I have. And he's fucking, his Tourette's has gotten so bad, he looks like the guy from Back to the Future doing his fucking podcast and seems to be doing a lot of sniffing. Hasan looks great. I'm going to be real. Hasan looks great. I don't know how he does it. He seems to be very mentally balanced and healthy. He seems to live a happy life. He's got a good relationship with a lot of women. He's incredibly good looking. He seems to be very physically healthy, and he dresses well. I got nothing. I don't know. He must have bodies in the basement. I don't know how the fuck he's managed to do that. He seems to be the only streamer that doesn't look like absolute horse shit all the time from streaming. Some of the women are able to do that. Women are the only ones who are able to do that. You know why? Because women look after themselves. They actually understand how to take care of themselves. We don't do that. Men don't do that. We just go self-care day, more like a fuck gay day. I think I'm going to go back to work, and then we drop dead at 55. That was me. I don't do that anymore because I got gender reassignment surgery, and I'm fucking gay now. I look after myself. So anyway, Ian's made a video about it, and I don't know. Yeah, the whole thing seems a little bit fucking silly, especially when you compare it to like theoretically what the fuck they're arguing about, you know? Like I think enough children have been harmed in this fucking conflict overseas. We don't need to start getting influencers' children involved. I just think that everyone just needs to meet up in person and have a chat, and it'll probably work out. This is what happens when you're fucking watching clips taken out of context, sent in by fans or chopped up by editors, or and the well is poisoned before you even hit fucking play. It's like you gotta, if your mate pisses you off, you gotta call them, not blast them publicly. Because, you know, Ethan and Hila's whole thing is like, oh, we defended Anissa when the entire internet was attacking her for doing OnlyFans, which I thought was really gross. Not attacking Anissa, I mean defending it. No. I think it's fucking insane how much vitriol was directed her way for, you know, being on OnlyFans. Like I think that's fucking weird. You don't want to date a girl who does OnlyFans? Don't. You don't think porno is good? Don't look at it. I don't fucking watch the shit. You don't have to engage, but I'll always try to treat human beings like human beings, no matter what they do, you know, to earn a living. And let's be real. There's a lot less damaging things out there. There's a lot more damaging things out there than selling whole. And, you know, Ethan was like, oh, we defended you when that happened. And that is true. But then Ethan's like, oh, your fucking editor said all this horrible shit about me and my wife and my family, and you didn't say anything. Bro, I think we all know and we all fundamentally understand that YouTube editors are bad people. And they're actually some of the worst people on earth. I mean, if you knew what Keelan gets up to in his spare time, and we know a little bit of it. I mean, some of the live streams he did on Skid Row when he was in America, I don't know how he managed to get out of the country without being arrested. Thank God that Donald Trump is president right now, because Keelan's actually, he doesn't live in Canberra. We've been saying that. That's actually not true. He's actually being paid by Trump to just tranquilize homeless people and relocate them to democratic states because Republicans think it's funny. And there's actually a series of videos that Keelan's working on right now, which you can see they're on my Patreon right now, of him actually tranquilizing homeless people, moving them to Democrat states, wealthy Democrat suburbs, and they wake up and they're bewildered, and they actually wake up and tied to their ankle is a plastic bag full of fentanyl. And that's just like a little starter pack to get them dealing and selling. And that's actually an idea that Keelan had. And these are the types of evil ideas that come from YouTube editors' heads. We all know that they are some of the worst people on earth. So I don't know why you would ever be upset that a YouTube editor said something bad. We all know that they are bad people. That's why they're YouTube editors and deserve less. But also, I don't know. I don't see fucking every single person's tweets that I know. Although I do think that if a guy I used to work with was blasting out mad shit about one of my friends, I probably would see it. And I think that I would go, I don't agree with this. At least privately to my mate, I would go, I think that's yucky. I don't believe that of you. Maybe I would publicly too. I don't know. It depends what was said. I feel like if what that guy was saying was being said about my friends and it wasn't true, I'd be like, yeah, that's fucking, I would at least say it in a podcast. I'd be like, I don't know that guy. But yeah, but you know, like this is a phone call. Like I don't know why I'm watching fucking hours and hours and hours of people in their mid-30s screaming gossip about each other that all could have been resolved by them fucking getting on a phone call and being like, did you mean that? And then the other person going, no, sorry, it came across wrong. Anyway, let's move on from this fucking rubbish, shall we? Oh, that's right, dude. How crazy is this? I did my driver's lesson. And I paid attention to some of the feedback I got in the comment section about me not knowing what a head check was. And I really paid attention to it because I said, I don't know what a head check is. I just turn my head and I don't know what I'm looking for. And all of these people told me what I'm supposed to be looking for and told me what a head check is and why you should do it. And anyway, I read it all and I absorbed it and then I got in the car and I feel like I learned nothing. Like I'm still just turning my head. I feel like I'll know it when I see it. I hope that I know what I'm looking for when I see it, all right? I understand it's when you're changing lanes, you're looking out for your blind spot, but nothing's ever there. So I guess if something is there, I won't change lanes. I suppose that's what it's for. Anyway, did my learner's test. Well, not my learner's test. Did my driver's lesson. And I've told the guy, I said, I want my fucking learner's permit by June because my son will turn 18 this year. And if he gets his license before me, I have to kill myself. That's just the gentleman's agreement that me and my son have come to. And every time I go for a lesson, I text him. Every time he does a lesson, he texts me. And at this point, I'm feeling like he wants me to do it. But I get my learners, not jump. Get my P's, sorry. I have my learners. Anyway, what I'm saying is my instructor's all in. Because the last time he saw me, right? Well, the last time, look, the time before my first set of lessons this year, the last time I saw him was like 2 years ago, or maybe even more. I haven't done the math yet. I'm too scared to. That's the last time I saw the bloke. I reckon that's got to be the first time that he ever was like, all right, see you next time. 2 years went by, and then the same bloke gets in the car, except this time he's got a new chin and grey hair. That's probably never happened before, all right? He's an excellent teacher. Lockdowns fucked me, then I got sick, all right? We're back on track. Last driver's lesson, and I'm doing them weekly, brother. Every fucking week. And I said, I want my license by June, mate. That's a couple months away, and I'm getting it. So we've started, right? He got me to run through the basics. He put me straight on the fucking highway again. Now we're doing mock tests. We're doing the learners test route. And we did the first one last week. Guess what? I passed. Not the real test, but the fake pretend one where he pretended to be grading me. And I passed that shit. First go! I'm 31, but still first go. The test kind of seems easy. The test is basically don't scare the fuck out of the instructor. And go slower than you need to and don't rush. Like that's what the fucking test is. You know? But anyway, I did it and it seemed relatively easy. I even did a 3-point turn in 3 points. Got to the car park. He's like, just pick a space. I tell you what, dude, if the final step of the test is like the parking bit, and you do it in the where you begin the test, like in the learners, what the fuck is it called? I don't know. Like that's how little I've been involved in the learning to drive movement, that I don't even know what the office is called where you do the learner's test. This is how poisoned by American culture my brain is. I really want to say, the Australian DMV. Oh, I just wanted to punch myself in the face for saying that. I don't know, whatever the fuck it's called. That place, right? If when I do my real test for real, if that car park is busy, I'm failing, because the only parking space I can choose is one that's like, I just want to drive nose in and straight. There's a great fucking parking space that when you get in there, and it's literally one of the first ones you see. There's 3 in a row, and you just drive directly forwards. You can't fuck it up. If those are taken, I promise you, brother, I will fail my test because I can't park. If I got a reverse, not only will I fail, I will run over an instructor. I will make the news. But other than that, I'm feeling quite optimistic, and I think pretty soon you're gonna be eating your words. Everyone who said I couldn't get my license this year, you're gonna be right in the comment section. I'm very sorry. Someone brought a learner's permit for me to sign at the comedy festival this year, and I thought that was very disrespectful, and I signed it because it was also quite funny. But I tell you what, when are my shows? They're like in May, I think. April, May, June. Okay, well, you better be bringing P-plates for the Sydney show. I'm not signing any L's. I think I'm going to do it, man. I think I'm going to fucking do it. Here's the thing, though. I don't know, what car should I get? Not that I can afford a car. What a great discussion to be having. What car should I get? I can't afford I can barely afford to pay my mortgage. What car should I get? What car should I get? What the fuck would I fit in? What does LeBron James drive, and how do I get a cheaper version of that? What the fuck does a 6'8" man drive? Because right now I'm learning in like a fucking Prius, dude. And it's not, I have 2 blind spots. I got a blind spot where everyone else's blind spot is, and then the column where the front windshield connects to the bonnet, like that's right where my head is right where the roof joins with the column. So when I'm turning, I gotta look all the way forward around the column. It's not good. I need a big tall car. Maybe I should get one. Maybe I'll get a Tesla, a Cybertruck. That's what I'll get. I'll get a Cybertruck and I'll paint my own swastikas on it. Get ahead of the scandal, Just pre-vandalize my Tesla Cybertruck. Is that maybe like a great way to get a Tesla cheap on the secondary market? If you get one with Swazies on it? If you're just okay with driving that, can you do that? If anyone has a Tesla with Swazies on it, like that's how little money I have. I'll buy it and I'll drive it. I'll just put duct tape over them. I'll use duct tape to turn them into windows. I think my most controversial opinion is that I think the Tesla Cybertruck looks cool. I do. I think it's cool as fuck. I think it's one of the coolest cars that's been released in the last 50 years. And I'm not even joking. I think it's so fucking cool. Or at least I did think that until I saw how big it is. It's one of those stupidly, insanely massive American trucks. They're so yuck. You ever see those fucking... Dude, some stupid rich people import them into Australia. And they're driving these fucking tanks on small Australian roads. Like somewhere in Frankston, there's like is it called a Ram? I think it's called a Ram. Those huge American ones. like twice the size of a ute. And literally, I walk the dog every morning. He's driving around doing his routine. I see him every morning. Every morning, just about, I see him just circling the block, trying to find somewhere to park because the fucking thing is as big as a semi-truck. It's insane. It's the most inconvenient, ridiculous car you've ever seen in your life, and he's in the fucking suburbs. All right, cool. Maybe if you live on a farm, get one of them. But what can they do that a ute can't? Nothing. How good's that? The closer I get to my license, I'm like, here's my opinion on driving. I have got to get my license because, no word of a lie, the last like 5 times I have gotten into an altercation on public transport. I don't know if people are becoming more insane or I'm just more alert and more prone to speaking up. But literally, like the last 5 times, I have had to intervene with some psycho harassing a woman. And it's going to be a great loss to women everywhere when I stop riding the trains, because it seems like I'm the only man on earth that ever says anything. I've been literally 5 incidents in recent memory where I've been the only dude to speak up. And look, to be fair to other men, I'm 6'8". All right, so as a giant man, it's my fucking duty. But that's bullshit. If you're a man and you see a man harassing a woman or a child, you gotta say something. Like it's your duty. You must do it. All right. If you see this shit happening and you don't say anything, you're a coward and a pussy, and you're not a good man. You're just a bystander. You let life happen to you. You are, a leaf in the wind. You're nothing. You got to say something. So I'm on the train, and dude, I was going towards the city. I was in Bentley, which is like a really nice Jewish area, right? Rich, like real wealthy area. I'm in Bentley on the train station. My train gets cancelled. I'm sitting there for 20 minutes. There's one guy on the other platform, of course, going to Frankston, right? That looks like the most offensive caricature of a homeless person you've ever seen. Like if he was a character in a movie, people would be like, that's offensive to the unhoused. Like the guy was like full on manic screaming by himself on the end of the platform. Like I was there for 20 minutes, literally for 15 minutes. He's sitting there by himself, no one in sight, going, yeah, like literally doing those ones, just screaming. It was so loud and was happening so much, and he was so far away that I was looking around for the first 7 minutes trying to figure out where the fuck is that noise coming from. Because on the Frankston line, a lot of them are those new and improved modern underground train stations, which look really great on a fucking spreadsheet, but every woman sees those in real life and goes, oh, that's a death trap. Underground, soundproof, no witnesses, that's where I die. That's where I get killed by unhinged people. You know, classic government being like, oh, we're going to make level crossings disappear because they're really unsafe, and we're going to replace them with death traps for women. We're going to put these underground, and we're going to just basically create an environment where mentally unhinged psychopaths can do whatever the fuck they want to anyone, and there'll be no witnesses, and there's no help within earshot. And, oh, by the way, you know those public service officers? Yeah, we're getting rid of them. I haven't seen a PSO for fucking months now. Right? So, anyway, exactly the situation I'm describing is happening. Dude by himself just screaming. I finally pinpoint his location. I'm like, okay, that guy. And, you know, I'm keeping an eye on him because I'm a fucking superhero. And Frankston train's coming soon. My train's going to come after that. My side of the platform packed, right? Lots of dudes, lots of women. His side of the platform, it's just him all the way down the end, and then all the way on the other end, closer to me, one young girl, one young boy, maybe 17, maybe 18, right? So he gets a pass for doing nothing because he could have been a kid. It's school holidays, right? Anyway, I'm keeping an eye on this bloke because I know what they're like. And sure enough, my prejudices were confirmed. Guy just starts making, as soon as the train starts pulling up, he sees the train, right? His escape route. And he starts making a beeline for this girl who's sitting on the bench by herself. I see this and I stand up because I'm like, I think I know what this person's going to do. He gets up, train's pulling up off in the distance. He gets up, she's sitting on the bench. She doesn't see him, right? She's trying to ignore him. She's got headphones on and shit. He gets right in her face. Everyone on my side of the platform's watching this. Guy on their side of the platform's watching this. Gets right in her face. As soon as I see him approaching her, I'm like, fuck, do I run up over there? Like up, because it's one of the things where like, let's say he does something, I'd have to run up the stairs, walk towards him, go back down the stairs, like no shot, right? So I'm thinking, all right, if this guy does something, I'm going to jump over the tracks, right? But he's walking towards her and he gets right in her face. And as soon as he gets in her face, I scared the shit out of everyone around me. It's like 2 p.m. during the day. I'm in like Bentley. So it's just like well-to-do Jewish ladies and shit just around. And then this guy gets in this girl's face. And as soon as he gets in her face, I'm on the other side of the platform and I just go, "Oi, cunt! You fucking leave her alone!" Like way louder than that. You know, speaking his language. And I hit him with, "Oi, cunt!" I scare the fuck out of everyone on my side of the platform who's trying their best to ignore this guy. He turns around and looks at me and I go, "You get the fuck away from her." And then he comes towards me a little bit and I point at the guy. I go, "Get off the platform." And I scared the fuck out of her too. She leaves the platform, and then the train's pulling up. So I'm like trying to I'm like going, "You fucking get away! Shut the fuck!" And then he is like, it's like literally he starts walking away from the girl, and I start walking in his direction, like, but I'm on the other side of the platform, you know, and the train's coming. So there's no way there's going to be any altercation. I'm just trying to be like, "Come on the tracks, mate." Jump in front of the train. And fuck, it'd be funny if someone filmed this. I wouldn't be surprised. But then he starts making fucking bow and arrow. Like, the guy was nuts. He starts doing bow and arrow shit at me. And I'm going, "Yeah, fuck you, mate. You leave women alone." And he's shooting me with schizophrenic arrows. I'm dodging him, you know. I'm like, "You can't fucking get me." I was there up there like Neo, fucking. And then he just gets on the train, and God knows what the fuck happened when he was in an enclosed carriage with all his people. And it made me so fucking like I was shaking. I was so angry. The girl didn't come back. I thought I actually really regretted. I probably should have run up and checked on her. I think she was totally fine. He didn't touch her. But she seemed like fucking max 19 years old. Probably more like 16, 18. Right, so young girl. She's left the platform. I presumably get an Uber. I'm fucking shaking with rage. One Indian lady goes, "Oh, thank you." And I just look at her and I scare the shit out of her because I'm so fucking... "You're welcome." I'm just like, you know what it's like when you get into I don't know what to do with this. I just have to go sit back down and just fucking, I'm going to breathe through it. And it made me so angry because that guy was crazy, right? He was fucking crazy. And he was insane, and he was screaming and blah, blah, and he was super crazy. And then he was so crazy that he involuntarily wandered up to the most vulnerable person, a young girl, got in her face to scare the shit out of her, touch her maybe, God knows what he was planning to do. And so he was a fucking lunatic. But as soon as I yelled at him, like the biggest bloke he's ever seen. As soon as I yelled at him, all of a sudden he's sane enough to stop. So he's crazy enough to be screaming, crazy enough to be fucking maybe hurting a young girl. But as soon as a man comes along and says something, he's now sane enough to fucking stop. Crazy how all these insane people are only crazy around people that they are like able to hurt or intimidate. It just, I don't know, it just makes me fucking, it makes me so angry seeing that shit. And it's so disappointing that, I don't know, I'm always the only one. Every time, I'm always the only one. And the times that I've done it, I've always been like quite a distance away. It's never happened right in front of me. There's always been other people much closer and in a much better position to do something. You know, I'm on the other side of the platform. This case was a little bit different because there was like the only other guy on the platform was like maybe a kid as well. Right, so probably would have scared him too. But there are a bunch of blokes on my side of the platform that just fucking were content to ignore it. And I guess what I'm saying is like the bystander effect is very real, but once you are aware of that, you just gotta have it in your head, fellas. Like you will be the one to say something. Like that's a promise that I made myself a long time ago when something awful happened to someone that I love. I will be this one to say something. Because it's literally it's scientifically likely, like almost a 99% chance guarantee that nobody else will, which is why you have to. When you see this type of stuff, when you see this type of behavior, you know, nutters intimidating women and children in public, in private, you got to say something. You, the one person listening to this, it is, as a man, it is your duty to stand up and speak out against unacceptable behavior when it comes into your orbit. And when you understand that it's actually your responsibility to do that, you will realize that it is in a lot of places. And it's not, you know, that rare. I think it's really easy to think, oh, you know, it doesn't happen around me. But once you acknowledge that it's your responsibility to not only speak out when this shit happens, but kind of be aware of it in public, like you got to be street smart. You got to be aware of what's happening, especially when you're in public, on public transport, nights out. You'll start to see it a lot. Like you will see dudes talking to chicks that are way too fucking blackout drunk. You see it all the time. You will see people intimidating chicks. It doesn't happen every time I ride the train. Well, actually, recently it has been every time I've fucking caught the train. And you got to be safe about it because some of these people are dangerous. And your first response should almost never be violence. Like almost, I've never had to get violent. Ever, right? I've only ever had to say something in a confident, loud voice. And that's all it takes. Like these nutters just need to know that there is a man that is watching that isn't going to allow it. And that often diffuses the situation entirely. You don't even need to do it in an angry way. Obviously, I had to scream at that guy because who knows what he was doing and I was so far away. But if that were happening, say I'm on the bench with the girl, I'd be like, are you all right? To the guy, we're like, what are you all right, man? Often that is all you need. And it just makes them go, fuck, I'm being watched. And it's not dangerous. It's scary. It's always scary. When I do it, it never gets less scary. But it is essential. And I think there's like, with men, there's this belief that a lot of guys have that I used to believe as well when I was younger, which was, I'm not doing it, so I'm a good person. That's not how it works. You know, like I'm not committing the bad thing, so I'm a good man. No, that's not how it works. I'm trying to think of an analogy. What I'm saying is a good man does good things, prevents bad things from happening, speaks out when bad things are in his presence. A good man is not an absence of evil acts. You know, of course you shouldn't do bad things, and you're not a bad person. If you don't do good things either, that doesn't make you an evil person. If you're not doing good shit, that doesn't make you a bad person. You're a bad person if you do bad things. But the absence of bad things doesn't make you a good person. It makes you a neutral man. And neutral men standing by when bad men do bad shit is why bad men are allowed to do stuff, and that's what gets people harmed a lot of the time. So a good man is not the absence of evil. It's actually the actions that you take. And a lot of people will be like, oh, why do I have to step in? Why can't women look after themselves? Well, because, have you seen a woman? They're small, and with great power comes great responsibility. I understand that as a fucking massive man, that comes with like a lot of privileges. Like I get to be the huge guy, and oh my God, and it's like an eye turner and a conversation starter, and some people find it wildly attractive, and it means that I can reach things from the top shelf and all these other amazing things, but it comes with a fuckload of responsibility. I could really, really hurt someone without trying. And it is my place and my responsibility to fucking stand against evil shit because I am a really intimidating figure. And that can be used for good or for evil. And you don't have to be a big person to intervene. You don't even need to be a man to intervene. Women can do it. Women do it. Chicks do it way more than men. Because they understand what it's like to be victimized by these fucking nutter psychos. Or just these people that are completely sane. They just have entitled beliefs or do bad shit. And that's really what I'm getting to is if you're a man, you can do something. And that's a responsibility that men have. And I'm not going to be out here demonizing people if they don't do stuff. If you're scared, that's okay. If you're too scared to do something, that's fine. But you just got to, you're scared. And it is scary. Absolutely. Every time I've done it, I'm a little bit scared. But I understand that it is my responsibility because no one else on that train is going to do it. No one else in that club is going to do it. No one else on that platform did it. And every single time I've done it, every other man has been completely silent. And every time that happens, it breaks my fucking heart. Because it's just really sad to see a room or a carriage or an area full of men who are content and okay, or maybe not okay with, but are just willing to sacrifice a woman or a child so that they don't have to say, don't do that. Because it's awkward or it's scary or it's intimidating or whatever. But that being said, I got to get my fucking license because I'm, I've done my time screaming at the crackies. I'll never stop when I see it, but fuck, it has been every time I've taken public transport recently. Are things getting worse? It seems that way. I don't know if things are getting worse or I'm more aware. It's probably both. Anyway, I'm going to end it there. That's the end of the show. I hope you got some value out of that. Thank you very much for listening. There is a Patreon episode that is up right now. In fact, this week, 4 Patreon episodes of the podcast went up. So if you want to have a big binge of exclusive funny content, there's 3 episodes with Keelan, and there's one 40-minute episode of me cooking in my kitchen. If you want to watch that, I think it's a bit of a laugh, and that is up right now. All 4 of those. Thank you very much. And just a reminder, it is your responsibility to be a good man. That is our calling and our duty as men. If you disagree, you're scared, and that's okay. But you're not a good man. You're just a neutral man. All right, that's it. Have a shit one. Bye.